Hello, everyone, and this is to tell you that if you haven't swapped into altcoins, you definitely should swap now. And this video is going to be all about that. Why, you ask? Well, let's actually take a look at the altcoin prices. You see Bitcoin's up 1.37, and besides these stablecoins and XRP today, pretty much everything else is up. TON is the Telegram coin thing, and DAI is a stablecoin. So basically, like 99% of all altcoins are actually in the green for the last 24 hours. Now, you may remember that VeChain was actually pumping way hard last week. Well, it's not pumping all that hard this week, but despite that, it's still up, and its amount up matches that of Bitcoin. So at least they're matching Bitcoin's performance. And look at, another crypto right before it, HBAR. People were complaining it wasn't pumping. It's pumping 10% now. So these different altcoins are taking turns pumping at different times. But the more important thing is, even when they're not so-called pumping, they are still going up over the last 24 hours and at least mimicking and matching Bitcoin's price. Of course, when they actually get their super pump, they go way, way up. Right now, it's AI coins. You can see GRT is pumping up. If you look at AGIX, Fetch AI, they pumped up a lot recently as well. So realistically, you have all these altcoins basically matching Bitcoin's performance and then pumping a little bit extra at times. And that's why you should actually be in altcoins right now instead of all in Bitcoin, or at least mostly in altcoins if you want the highest ROI. Because I think people have actually turned a corner, and despite the funds flowing into Bitcoin, altcoins are matching Bitcoin price. The other thing is, if you look at Bitcoin dominance right now, it's on CoinMarketCap, it's 51.8. It hasn't really moved off the 45 to 53, 54 area for a very, very long time. And that means Bitcoin dominance has actually maxed. That doesn't mean Bitcoin's not going to keep going up. Bitcoin's going to continue to go up as we hit 52,500. But that does actually mean that alts will actually just follow Bitcoin or outperform it, and there'll be bursts by several different coins. And with most of the coins I own, aside from one or two of the meme coins, they're all going up very, very nicely. And different categories of coins are going to pump at different times. Right now, it's AI coins. Next time, it could be memes, or memes are always pumping. Or next time, it could actually be RWA or something else. Now, a couple that you want to look at right now is SUI, because the TVL on SUI has actually rocketed way, way up to over $700 million. It's basically been on a tear since September, October, and it is gaining very, very quickly at this point. And usually what happens when these TVL gains, that suggests that SUI will actually do well in the bull run. Now, SUI is not too high priced right now at 3.91% over the last 24 hours, but such a burst in TVL generally during the bull run does equal or will equal a burst in the price as well. So I think right now would be a pretty wise time to maybe get some SUI. Of course, I do think AI coins are still going to do well, so getting some RNDR right now might not be a bad idea. Remember, a lot of these coins that didn't quite super pump because they didn't quite exist in the last bull run, once they break their all-time high, they're going to be in price discovery mode. So you want to look for some of these newer coins that didn't completely bust out in the last bull run because they were too new or something. And you kind of want to look for those that are somewhat, or at least maybe 50% of their all-time high. You want to look at that because once they get past their all-time high, that's a big resistance that's shattered, and they'll go into price discovery mode. Caspa's constantly doing that, but Caspa already has the hyper pumps. I'm still waiting for KAS to get smart contracts so it can implement a lot of the features that other coins actually have, and I think that'll actually make it go up some. But, if you look at some of the ones Injective right now, I don't think INJ quite has the TVL that SUI actually is building right now, which is why I like SUI a lot. But INJ is also a kind of a newer coin at $38.31, and you're looking at a $45 maximum. $7 is not that hard to overcome. And once it actually gets those $7, hits a new all-time high, it's going to be in price discovery mode too. And I think a lot of people are going to buy. I do think like you should look for these coins that are about to be in price discovery mode, because I think they might actually have more potential than the ones that are just like really, really far away from their all-time high. Stacks is definitely one you want to look at because of Bitcoin development. I've said this multiple times. I think Bitcoin development is pretty much a disaster, guaranteed, basically, because Bitcoin scaling just is like garbage, basically. But the Bitcoin maxis are going to continue pushing it. There's a lot of people in Bitcoin, and people are going to still throw money at it, regardless of how dumb I or you think it is. And trust me, it is kind of stupid. But I do think stacks will soar because, like Bitcoin development, it's going to be a hot topic this time, and people are going to try to invest a lot of money in it. I think they're way better off in trying to develop other chains and just leave Bitcoin to be a store of value. But they're going to try, and that's going to result in a lot of money being shot up at Sui. I would definitely also look at Solana DeFi projects because Solana's liquidity is increasing. If you actually look at the liquidity, Solana actually has surpassed XRP now. It's been more than XRP in market cap for a long time, but besides the stablecoins, everything else in terms of liquidity is a little bit below XRP, but like Solana's gaining the liquidity, but unlike XRP, it actually does have a DeFi ecosystem. And because of that, I think people are going to be very, very busy trading it at this point, and that will actually create a lot of buzz within the ecosystem, and those apps are going to get used by retail people. And when those apps get used by retail people, they tend to pump the price up. People will also lock more Solana tokens, or at least the Solana DeFi tokens, in the DeFi, and that will actually make the coins scarce. So I would definitely look at some of the Solana projects, not the ones that have super duper high dilution, which is why I actually may not want to buy Jupiter right now, but definitely you want coins that are a little bit smaller. Maybe look at Radium, maybe look at Orca, maybe look at some of the lower projects in Solana, because they're attracting a lot of people to that ecosystem with their airdrops and their phone. And a lot of those people are going to be gambling on some of these Solana tokens. So you definitely want to have something in that ecosystem. Because let's face it, despite the fact that it goes down, the retailers don't really care if it goes down every once in a while. They'd rather have a cheap system that's up 99.5% of the time than an expensive system that's up 100% of the time. Because they can always wait a couple of hours to actually trade their Solana. Whereas Ethereum, the base layer is essentially slow pretty much all the time and costly all the time. And yes, they could use the other chains as well, but they also want to flow where all the money is. And that's where Solana has an edge over these other chains. It has a greater TVL than most of the other layer ones. And I think there's going to be more projects that are seriously going to be looking at SOL. So yeah, you want to have you want to have your coins in the altcoins at this point. Whether you're investing in supply chain, payments, AI, RWA, storage, whatever, even privacy. Although I don't really recommend privacy because the feds are going to be trying to pwn you all the time, and that's never really a good thing for your investment. No matter which one of those categories are actually in, I think these specific coins are going to actually start pumping. The Oracle will probably get a pump too. Link will benefit off of that, PYTH, as well as some of the others will actually benefit off of that. Some of the exchange coins will probably start pumping as well, whether it's DeFi or whether it's a DEX or a centralized exchange. I'm pretty sure they'll start pumping as well. I would spread my money around, but I would definitely think it's time to diversify out of Bitcoin, probably out of Ethereum too. Although Ethereum has an argument that the ETF is probably coming up, and that could definitely lead to, some pumping within Ethereum itself. So right now, if you don't have altcoins, it is time to get more into altcoins, I believe. I don't think that giant dump, that 40% retrace is coming anytime soon. I mean, I think the most we'll get is like a 15-20% at this time. I think the upward momentum is too high. Unless we get some like huge legal smackdown, I don't really see us turning around. We should head to 55 and 60 fairly fast, especially with the halving coming up. And the higher we go, the lower Bitcoin dominance will get. I think a lot of the people were like, well, since all the ETF money is flowing to Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance shouldn't go down. For every dollar of ETF that flows into Bitcoin, there's like probably 2 or 3 that's flowing into like various altcoins. The retail people, like the retail people that have been around, they want to buy these altcoins. The institutions are buying Bitcoin, but that just gives further confidence for the entire market. And I do believe that altcoins are all going to get legal clarity, especially on the secondary market. So the security thing may not be an issue for long. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.